Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Up top with me today is Michelle Nash. How are you doing today, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I think like all of us, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm, as usual, happy to be talking about the Challenge All-Star season. And joining us right down here, we have Fanta. How are you doing today, Fanta?
I am doing very well.
Okay, you are doing very well. That's very great to hear, Fanta. I'm as excited, though, as I am to talk about this episode.
Yes, it was a very interesting episode.
I loved it.
I loved it too. And once again, it just brought me back to the old days where the craziest things would happen. And it's like in other situations, an outcome like this would make me so angry. But because of the way it happened and everything about it, which we'll get into, it just made me happy. Like I laughed so hard and I rewatched it so many times, that ending. And like, it was just iconic. So for me, like I actually wasn't upset, even though like, obviously we hate quitters, but it was just such a good episode.
Yeah, I was just cackling. And I also rewound it as well. That's funny that you did that. I was like,
no, I rewound it too. We're so crazy. I rewound. Okay, the parts that I rewound was that I watched the ending 2 or 3 times, and then I also watched all the clips a couple of times. So I watched the Mark and Beth clip like 3 times. So I just needed to see it. I was like, oh yeah, okay, she's kind of flirting with him and sexual innuendos. Okay, cool. And then like all the Katie clips, I watched times. So needed it. So I'm with you ladies as well. So starting off episode 4 with another DMX song. I think they're doing that in homage just to re-celebrate, his life. And it just works for me. It reminds me of like, I used to love DMX like back in the day, and hearing his songs was definitely synonymous with the challenge. They probably used it a lot back then as well. So I was happy to hear that as well. So at the beginning, tell me if I'm wrong, but was that Yes's first confessional? Because I was like, I don't think I've ever heard you talk before. And so his confessional, he's talking about people potentially having vendettas, and like it's like watching a chess game, and that you really have to be on the ball 24/7 to make sure you know what's going on, which tells me that he's on the periphery looking in, which means that he doesn't really have any alliances. It's kind of what I picked up from that, and it made me worried for his position in the game. But did you guys notice anything?
Oh, no, interesting that you thought that, because I was like, I think he's kind of in a good position because
Me
there's
too.
some like drama that's happening, and he can really just like, he's very cognizant of it. And I think that what will end up happening is like when push comes to shove, I feel like he'll make the right move because he's a pretty smart guy.
Sorry,
yeah, and he's like a math genius, right? He's the one who's like super smart. And so I feel that, and he seems pretty strong. I mean, he could get screwed by the like big alliance, which I would say is like Mark, Derrick, Darrel. Like he could get, because they probably maybe they don't want to compete against someone like him, but he seems like out of the radar right now. And I thought at least he's aware that you do need to always be thinking or otherwise you'll get kind of swept to the side. So I think he's thinking. I think we're going to see more of him coming up. I hope.
I hope. I'm curious to see what he's all about, because I don't really remember anything other than him being cute, you know?
Yeah.
So I do want to see more of it. Hi, Sam. So Sam says, okay, but how does the OG seasons have more hookups than 20-year-olds? Well, I love it, though. Me too. It's because we're bringing in real people that know how to have a good time, and they were cast for different reasons than they're cast on the current season. They're cast because they are the hookup queen. They cast because they pop off. They're cast in these things because they're going to be interesting on Real World or Road Rules. Like they were cast for their personalities, and so I think that that's where we talked about it on Wednesday. The difference between now and then is that now they're not casting good personalities anymore. It's like they forgot about what was working. They just think that they're coming from a big show and they have big muscles that they're going to be good on the challenge. And it's just like, No, you're messing with the formula. It doesn't really work that way, guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Andrea. Andrea says, we love our Fanta, Chantele, Fanta, and Michelle. Yeah. Who are we talking about? We were talking about Yes. So Yes, at the beginning of the episode, he was just kind of looking at everything. And I was kind of saying, it seems like he's maybe on the periphery and not necessarily be well insulated. But I'm not being agreed with the one here, but I can see their side as well, that he might be in a good position and that he probably is not going to be the next one kind of going out. So I don't mind either way. I just want to see more of him because I want to see how this story unfolds. Yes, it's like Yoda. Yes, he is. He seems wise, doesn't he? Hi, Nicole. Hey, ladies. The colorful words were flying freely tonight. Arissa was bringing OG Las Vegas energy tonight. Yes. Some F-bombs tonight.
And just the contrast. Like, I know we'll get into it further, but the contrast of this new vibe she's been serving us with the, like, you know, meditation and the, like, connected to the earth and all of these things, which, you know, I definitely believe in a lot of the stuff. And, like, you know, who knows, whatever. It seems like she was, like, in this calm place, but she, like, warns us in the episode. If I need to come out, if my other side, the side that we've seen in the past, needs to come out, it's going to come out. And she just does not miss a beat in this whole episode. Yeah.
Well, we kind of learned why she was cast, because, you know, she was pretty much last pick on most drafts, I think, of anybody out there. And I was even thinking, like, well, why is she really here? She's not going to necessarily be a challenge beast. We've known her to not want to participate in certain things, being very scared of a lot of things. And so I was just kind of like, why is she here again? Why is she an all-star? But now we're realizing, oh, yes, it's because she did used to pop off like nobody's business. So gotta love it. So I love the flirtation that's beginning to be obvious between Jemmye and Nehemiah. But Jemmye's saying that Nehemiah is flirting with her. What do you think about that assessment?
I mean, here's the thing. I was talking about this with another friend of ours, Tanya, who does The Bachelorette as well, because I feel like it's a little less exciting because they both kind of seem to be doing it just knowing what it is. And neither party seems to really be having, like, feelings invested, which I expect from Nehemiah because it's kind of the way we've seen him be. From Jemmye, I would worry that she would get so attached, but she seems very much like, I know what I'm doing, you know, I'm using it for what I need to, and, like, I'm having a good time, don't judge me, like, just kind of living her best life. So from Tanya or some people's perspective might think, you know, it's not as exciting, but I also think it's going to change. Like, It's early, and knowing Jemmye, she'll get feelings or she'll get mad if something happens. Like, I don't know if this is going to stay in this kind of easy place, but for now, it's in an easy place.
I think that's what we're feeling right now, is like the calm before the storm. Because you're just like, you know, everybody's just so easy breezy, you know? And I think that we're feeling within the Jemmye and Nehemiah relationship that I don't know if Nehemiah knows what he's getting himself into here. It's like, yes, I'm waiting for that explosion of some sort to happen. And so, yes, it's a little bit calm, but I think it's before the storm for sure. You're agreeing, Fanta?
Oh, for sure. Every, like, episode I watch, I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
It's so true. One thing we learned, though, which I thought was really amazing, is that Nehemiah plans to take the money that he would win, and he wants to create a center for financial freedom for underprivileged communities. And so I thought it's nice to see, you know, people that have grown up, they probably have their own jobs. They're probably pretty stable in their life without this money. And so they're able to use it to help and benefit other people around. And so I like that. I mean, I have no judgment on what people do with the money. Like, you win, you win. Like, I don't care about it being honorable, but I do like seeing that he's doing something for community. Like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I do like sort of the emotional sides of things. Like, as much as, yeah, true. If you're going to win, you're going to be the best player. You're going to win. Great. Hats off to you. But to ride for someone's actual full life and their journey is what makes people like CT, for example, more of that whole character that we like strive for. Like we want to see the sides of everyone. You want to see Nehemiah cuddling and then also kind of being strong, but then also being like, I want to give this money to a good cause that I care about. And then also, you know, like I just like to see all the angles of it because then I'm just more invested and then I'm more heartbroken when they get eliminated or happy when they win.
I know. What are you going to say, Etta?
No, I agree. I agree. Everyone's well-rounded.
And I do love Jemmye like making business with pleasure here. Like she just has you can tell in that confessional that something's brewing, and it's because the producers know what's going on. Like I think that I'm not sure when that they film these confessionals, but they know the whole outcome. I think when they start really piecing together the weaving of the story, they probably have like a large framework, and then they start chopping it in and like, oh, let's put that good clip, like, you know, professional in. And so I think that they know what they're doing, and they're building a big crescendo to this relationship because I'm just like so on edge about it, and I'm on edge about her and Beth. I'm like, this is just, I don't know, like, are you really going to get along for that long?
Well, it does seem like they're still tight in real life because Jemmye recently posted a photo from a watch party and like her and Beth are together. So I would think that like they stay okay. The truth is like, I don't know. I think that like if they both make it really far, it could get testy. But if one of them gets eliminated at some point kind of soon, then they'll end on good terms because they, you know what I mean? Like it won't have been long enough. So we'll see. Like I'd be curious to see them both make it like really far. I don't know if that'll happen, but.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing because I was just like envisioning the both of them like going far and like all the things that they would have to do. I mean, Beth was pretty ready tonight, so
yeah. Hey, I just love Beth more and more.
Me too. I mean, like I'm not a hater of Beth anymore. I don't think I liked her back in the day, but I think I was on the side of the Mean Girls at the time. I don't know, yeah. But watching
literally Beth has done nothing wrong.
She was just older than them, actually. I think is what they were just.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she like wasn't afraid to speak her mind and like say shit and like, you know what I mean? Like because she wouldn't react in the way you want her to react when they were trying to upset her, like because she would just be like and just like say something else rude or whatever. They just like their hatred for her boiled up even more and more and more. I don't know. But I never personally saw her do anything that bad compared to like other people. So
I know, like, I mean, I'll talk about this later, but like, yeah, like people like Veronica like got a pass, like Veronica and Rachel, and even like Jody, and like all of them were like very cruel, but no one was ever like, oh, these girls are actually very mean.
Well,
and Derrick was so mean to Beth.
Derrick was awful to Beth.
Yeah.
So Andrea says, judge Beth by her enemies. Veronica, the mean girl, and guys who made fun of her age and weight and were general chauvinists. So that's true too. And it was in the time where that was a lot more accepted. We were a lot younger, so we were probably just going along on that train and like not really having like a critical thinking about like, hey, like why are we hating on this person? It was at a time where like big like groups would clump together and have group think and group hates, and it's just kind of how it was back then. Not saying that it was right, but like it's kind of like high school, you know? So looking back though, I'm like, oh my God, I like Beth. I probably would have hung out with Beth. She seems fun. She's fun.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think it's also people have grown up a little bit. So see for a brief second when during the challenge where they're trying to decide who is going to take the captain position, and kind of how Jemmye was forcing Beth to do that and take that position. I can see later down the road that Beth might not want to answer to Jemmye. And so that's where I could see maybe a little bit of friction coming, and that kind of friction might have a little bit of a pop off in the game, but it could be something that could be easily get over. But that's kind of what I'm suggesting, is like Beth being like, okay, I've had enough of this 30-year-old telling me what to do, you know?
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe a little bit today as well, because that's the thing, is that a lot of people in the house are not playing, like they're not playing the game. And Jemmye was playing the game before she stepped in that house. So it's only going to be like a matter of time before like there will be that friction where people are like, shit, like Jemmye is like playing hard. Like, I don't like this, or whatever it'll end up being. But that's kind of what when like the way that Beth looked at Jemmye, when it was like, you be the captain, I was like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I clocked that, and I think so did Beth.
I think that like I hope that it doesn't cause too much friction. I mean, yeah,
sure?
Jemmye's always going to save her own ass, though. That's the thing. Like,
and not everybody wants to be a pawn in someone else's game, right? So that's she feels as though what she says doesn't matter, or if like Jemmye only wants to have her, her voice be heard, and her always to be right. I don't know if Beth will always be going along with that. Sometimes if she has a very differing of opinions. Right now they're on the same page, right? They're trying to get closer to the end. Like they want to get rid of the same people. They're on the same side right now. But if they have difference in agendas, I can see the friction showing. Some sparks, maybe some little sparks. So Beth is missing her family, and she starts talking to Syrus, and Syrus is cheering her up. And this is where I have a little asterisk, because I'm like, okay, is this the storyline of the episode? Because we always find that like the storyline comes in near the beginning, and you're like, okay, we're going to see how it kind of goes through. So Beth thinking that she's old and that she's missing her family. I'm like, okay, I feel like she's going to be the one that was going to go down. But I got a little bit worried when Syrus says, no matter what, or when she says, no matter what, Iris has my back. And, having just those lines, like they never put them in for no reason. So I was like, is this going to be an episode where Syrus doesn't have her back, or later down the road? So did you guys have any thoughts about this little combo?
I love this, like every week when you do this, and then I'm always like, oh yeah, because I never, like, we talk about how we like watch in different ways, but I always forget, and then I'm always like, oh, next time I'll like watch that edit, like for sure, and then I always forget.
That's okay. I don't mind putting it out. Like, and then you guys like think about it if you see something like that, like I've noticed it.
Yeah, when I see something like that, I definitely, my radar goes up of like, oh, is this person not going to have their back? But in this situation, I was concerned. The way the episode started, within the first 10 minutes, we were getting this storyline with Beth, and we're getting this storyline with Arissa being kind of a loner and like not having the easiest time living with these people. And so you see these two storylines brewing, and I was like, okay. At first I was like, okay, it seems like Beth's gonna go in, and then I was like, maybe it'll be Arissa. But then we were also getting elements of Katie, and Kendall was still a problem. So I wasn't positive, but my wheels did start turning within the first 10-15 minutes. I was like, maybe it's gonna be them.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Kendall, because I always just feel like everyone, like every week, is just going to be like, oh, Kendall, like, let's get rid of her.
Okay, Andrea has a good question here. So we need to find out why Kendall gets everyone so pressed. Why does she annoy everybody so much?
I think it's because she is very scatterbrained from what I hear and have seen, and that she's like probably pretty like, I don't know. I feel like she's a little awkward, and also she's really good at these types of things, but then she'll like choose to kind of like not fully commit, or that's how it seemed in some of the past challenges. So I think people just
don't trust her.
And she also has only done one challenge before, and she won. She hasn't had certain struggles that the rest of them have had, and she doesn't really have the same connections besides Darrel. Like, she doesn't have those deeper bonds. So I think that's kind of why, like, I don't feel like it's the same as the old days though. Like, they're not like bullying her. Like, to me, it was just like they're being straight up. Like, it didn't feel the same. Like, to me, it didn't feel like bad, but like, I don't know. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think ultimately it's really this thing that comes down to where it's just like, you're not one of us. Like, the roots don't run as deep. I don't really feel like the other reasons are as like hold as much weight. But
and I think she doesn't do a good job with connecting with these people in any sort of way. So they can't connect with being on past seasons together. And she doesn't seem to make an effort to get to know people on a personal level, or people maybe don't give her a chance because they know people that they already like and they already hang out with them. And so I think that she's just kind of left out on the outside, and it's not very easy for her to socially get in with these people. So I think she's just in a bad position with not having more friends there, or being friends with people that are already in kind of cliques. So she's just playing from an underdog position, unfortunately. The next segment, which was it was quite humorous. Yes, she is a cannabis chef, which is interesting. Have you ever thought of this as a profession for yourself, Michelle? Maybe you need to become a cannabis, munchie food connoisseur, creator, something or something.
I mean, I would definitely be a judge on the show about that, but the truth is, like, I can't cook to save my life. But I watch a lot of shows about cannabis cooking. Like, there's one called Bong Appetit something. There's a couple different ones that are actually quite good. Very entertaining, very interesting. Sorry?
Bong Appetit is amazing. Like, you're just going to play off that amazing pun with just not even flinching. What was the second one?
Oh, geez. I'll have to remember, but there's quite a few, and I love it. I think it's really cool, but you have to be like a real chef. Like, you have to know what you're doing, especially because, like, with the amounts that you're putting in and all that. So, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. Like, have you ever just tried to like make weed brownies? That can go catastrophically wrong.
Yeah. I've never made a cannabis food that tasted good. I've certainly tried, but
didn't taste good. I've never tried to make anything like that. I think I've had a weed brownie once. And then other than that, it just reminds me of a story. I just have to quickly tell it, because a friend of mine, she'd eaten some chocolate. I'm hearing this story secondhand, but I know this person that it happened to. So she'd had some chocolate that was in the fridge or whatever, and she started to having like weird heart things, and like she wasn't sure what's going on. So she calls my best friend, and they're talking about it, and she's like, I don't know, I should go to the hospital. Like, I'm seeing things, like everything's like moving. Like, she was freaking out so much. She's like, I don't know what I what I ate. Like, is it an allergic reaction? There is shrooms in the chocolate. It was chocolate mushrooms, and like she ate like a lot, and she was actually just having a mushroom trip, not even thinking, because it wasn't hers. Like, it wasn't her chocolate. It wasn't her weed or a mushroom chocolate. And so she ate it, and she really like almost tripped out. And then she was able, like, my friend was like, well, could it have been this? And she's like, oh my God, it could have been. And then she was able to be okay with it, but she just thought something was happening to her, not knowing what's going on, which I think is hilarious.
That's scary, but also hilarious. But you got to be careful with other people's baked goods,
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they're not like totally sealed up in a brand that you recognize.
Right.
Then you should
off-brand caramel will get you high off your tree.
So I think it's so because she was in Paris at the time. So it could have just been an unfamiliar brand. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't something that she even thought of. So, but it was a lesson learned for all of us. So I'm sharing that with you guys so that nobody else is in this position. So, okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, so we said this one already, but this one. Okay. Why do they keep randomly putting the same people on the same teams? Weren't Jemmye and Beth on the same team in the last episode? I totally agree with that. Same with, it was mentioned in the episode with Kellyanne and Kendall, and even Darrel, I think, was on that team as well. I'm not sure.
I wasn't sure if I was confused because I don't know for sure because I didn't write it down, but I was like, some of these teams seem similar to me. And I also was like, why do Mark and Derrick get to be on the same team? Like, I don't know. I kind of was like, that's kind of unfair. And I was like, it's interesting that like Nehemiah is with Beth and Jemmye, you know, like, but then some of the teams, so I thought maybe they got to pick their own teams kind of quick or something, but I don't think it would have shaken out that way if they had. So I don't know what's up with the teams, but
we should. I hadn't finished watching the after show, but I do want to know. Maybe they mentioned that Mark is on the after show this week, so maybe he'll share some of that.
I'll watch that after this.
Because I'm just like, I totally agree with you. I still want to know: is it a schoolyard pick or not?
Yeah, maybe it's a schoolyard pick. Like maybe it's random. Like that could make sense.
I want to know. I know. Oh yeah, and Andrew's saying that Syrus is on that team too. Yeah, it's just. I'm not sure. I want to find out. I think we'll post it in Reddit or Twitter, and I'm sure somebody will have the answer for us. So we're going to figure that out because I don't know why people are ending up on the same teams when it's seeming like it's supposed to be random. But back to Arissa being the cannabis chef, and she infuses food with weed, which is awesome. But she said that she still has a bit of a vendetta about Battle of the Sexes too, that she didn't win. Do you remember what happened there for her to have some sort of grudge?
No, Battle of the Sexes was so long ago. I don't even know, but I can't remember. What?
That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's more so that like she's more just upset that she didn't win. And I thought it was kind of more like, I don't know what kind of questions they were asking her in that confessional interview to lead her towards speaking about having reason to want to be there and to want to win and to want to get some sort of validation and something good out of experiences that she left with nothing and felt upset about that or whatever. So I don't know that it's necessarily specific vendettas of people. I took it maybe a little more as just like she didn't do well. She didn't like the elimination she was in. Maybe she felt it wasn't fair or she was at an advantage or
skydiving thing where she doesn't do a lot of things because she was always very scared of stuff. I'm gonna have to watch it back and I'll report back to you guys because I'm just curious as to like what did she come back to prove, like why did she come? She wants to return to All Stars to put her stake in the game. I'm like, really? Like I don't see that fire in you to put the stake in the game. Like, if you're going to, please bring it. But, like, I just don't see that coming from her. And that being her intentions, for coming back.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially now.
I have some answers later.
Is it later? Okay, not now? You're going to wait for the very end? You're going to wait?
Well, there's, like, a whole bunch of things that, like, come together.
Okay, so it's better at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're just putting your teasers out there. Yeah, like we're like salivating over here.
I mean, I hope. I hope I don't get to the end where we're like, you should have said that earlier.
Oh, no, I don't. Of course, you can say whatever you want. I mean, hopefully it's good. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So, Mark does say, though, that he is praying that, Arissa can step her game up. And so I'm like, okay, if he's asking her to step her game up, I wonder if he's like, I invited you back for a reason. And, you're probably saying, like, I'm putting my stake in the game. And now they're seeing you're being kind of zen, which is fine with your, Palo Santo and you're saging your crystals. All cool, but where's that energy that I'm putting the stake in the game? So I'm glad that Mark was kind of calling her out there, but it made me seem like, yep, okay, this is the Beth and this is the Arissa story. Let's see if Arissa's going to put her stake in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
She does. So we see Katie now getting her little weave into the storyline here. Katie telling Derrick that she's actually been training for coming back, and she doesn't want anybody to really know because she wants them to still think that she's a layup. So obviously, I love it. Fanta, what did you think about Katie training before coming back on the challenge?
I mean, I thought it was great, but also at the same time, when we got to the challenge and she didn't do it, I was like, what was the point of you even saying that? Like, okay.
Yeah, but like
So every single challenge that is going to be like over water, she's just going to be like, no.
and there's a lot. Like that's the thing is it's a common daily. But while I did feel the same way as you, Fanta, later on I sort of kind of got past it because she does have the strength and confidence based on how many eliminations she went in the past, that like she's like, if I am scared of doing some heights over water because I got injured twice and I don't want to do it, then I'm just going to accept my fate and I'm happy to go into an elimination. And like, I will go into one. Like she has that sort of self-awareness and confidence to be like, yeah, I didn't do the daily. I'll prove it in the elimination, because if I have to pick between them, I'll pick something on the ground. Like, or that's more likely not gonna, it won't really be above water, at least in the same kind of way in an elimination. So I don't think it's a good tactic. I don't think it's smart. I don't think it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I get that, and like, there's part of me that's like, okay, but it's just also shit to watch.
Yeah.
Like, well, is that -5 points? For is that a quit?
Oh, I guess it is -5, and that's for me because I have Katie.
Trishelle.
I didn't write that down. I thought it was just proposed.
Can someone write it down, please? I don't have a pen on me.
Let's just
you lost 5 points.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about how Arissa loses 5 points.
I was curious if we're doing that as well.
Well, I wasn't sure. I have 2 arguments for that one because, anyways, we'll get into it.
But I loved, as I said in the beginning, that the clips of Katie and like yelling and like, I'm just like, she's so great, and I'm so happy to be seeing her. Even if like they put that in that scene with her, and we're being like, yes, we're gonna see this Katie. Like, it's to get us all amped up. But the editors know that she's going to quit this challenge, and they just wanted us to be like, Katie.
Yeah.
On your side, we didn't want to think you're a layup. We wanted you to prove us.
It's so funny. They either build it up to have like, wow, or they're like, oh, they're not going to be good, and then they are, or it's this third option where it's like build, and they just like don't even try.
No, not at all. But Derrick is supporting her here. Derrick, his confessionals is saying like he doesn't think that Katie is the layup that people think. And after the episode on Paramount Plus, it always has like a season of the challenge that's like from the past. And so it was on like her elimination of the Gauntlet, and the Gauntlet 3. And so like in that episode, she ends up throwing herself into elimination, which is really interesting. So I wonder if they'd like teamed that up at the same time, like on purpose, because it was Kate being super pissed at like the Evans and the West. They wanted to throw her into elimination. She's like, I don't want you guys to throw me in. I'm gonna throw myself in, and like kind of does that. She doesn't, spoiler alert, she doesn't end up winning that particular elimination, but like she has that attitude that she doesn't want people to be telling her what to do, and like she kind of wants to take it into her own hands, and she's fine with going into an elimination, and she's fine with losing an elimination. She's not a sore loser. So this is Katie stuff. This is what we actually kind of like about Katie. Even though we don't want people to quit dailies, it's kind of like her vibe.
It's kind of like, that's the thing, it is kind of her vibe. And at least she owns it. Like, at least all these people seem to like own who they are at this point. AKA, unlike someone like Fessy, it's like they're owning their shit. They're going to say why. They're going to like have their reasons. And if you don't agree, they're like, yeah, you don't agree. I don't care. I don't care, motherfuckers. I don't care.
For sure. Yeah, this is definitely Katie's vibe. She did that very thing in Gauntlet 3 as well, when they were like up on a thing or whatever, and she's like, I would rather go into whatever it was called, the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet. Yeah.
I've got a quarter of a brain today.
Okay, Fanta, we still love you. So yeah, we get the heights things, still gets Katie every time, and we go and we see pan in, and we see On the Ropes is the name of this challenge, where it's kind of like they had, I don't know, I couldn't tell how many ropes there were, but maybe 6 ropes or so across, like 6 and 6. And they're going to be split into, 3 teams of 5 and 1 team of 4, which I don't understand why they're doing this challenge right now when they could have easily done it maybe last week and had the correct number of people. So I'm wondering why they changed that around. What was the daily last week?
The ice one. The ice melt.
Yeah.
So to have the ice melt last week, when they could have easily had the ice melt this week. Well, it's another one that's going to be in groups. So why did they need to have it this week when it wasn't an even number to split around? They could have just saved it a couple times. Anyways, whatever. They make their decisions for whatever reason. I definitely didn't understand the why. But they had ropes that kind of go back and forth. And if you make one lap back and forth, you can remove one of the the ropes from the opposing team. And so it seems pretty basic. Like the person that gets to go across, they have a lot of like a rope on top and a rope on their feet that are able to go. And if they're fast and get back, they're able to take their the opposing team out of the equation. So I actually really liked this challenge. I thought it was unique, and there's a little bit of strategy with who you put in the beginning and who you put at the end, because you want someone fast so you don't lose your ropes. But if you do lose your ropes, you're going to want someone that has upper body strength to be able to get across maybe without some of these bottom ropes that are advantageous. So what did you think of this challenge, guys, on the ropes?
I thought it was an interesting challenge. I mean, because we've had a lot of ones where they have to crawl across things like that or whatever, climb across. And I thought it was cool to have that element. Yeah, I thought it was weird about the 4 people, 5 people, whatever.
They're randomly selected to go twice, but we don't know how they pick their teams. Why do they need to tell us?
I don't know about that, but I did enjoy the challenge. I mean, it was very classic, and some people did well. One of my like least favorite moments, but also like, was when Jonna just almost falls 3 times, and they like have all this pan, like they pan across like the whatever. She like keeps going. She makes it right to the end, and fucking Kellyanne's like, whatever, bitch, boom. And then she just falls.
Oh my God. That she was literally her foot was like literally hovering over the platform. I was like, no.
The song they're laughing was Hold On by Wilson Phillips. It was hold on one more day, and the things are going. Like, and she's just like, ah! Like,
honestly, it was so funny. Like, but I felt so bad because I was like, Jonna, like, she's really giving her all this season, and she's been through so much, and I just love the person she is now. Like, I feel like she's very like self-assured and is gonna never give up. And like, I don't know, I'm kind of like rooting for her a little bit now. Like.
Yeah, I am. I'm rooting for her. Like, I like Jonna. The fact that she endured any part of her life with Zach, it's like, you deserve a medal, girl. I'm glad you're out of that. I'm happy that she's coming back and she's doing something for her family, and she does have a different attitude, and I definitely like that. I just wish that she maybe trained or something a little bit more before she came. You know what I mean? Like, I just think she might be a little bit out of her league with the type of, not necessarily the people that she's competing against, but the type of challenges that she's going to be coming up to, because I just don't know if she's going to be able to do well in them, you know?
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
What I'm enjoying her. I do like her. So the Mark wants the lifesaver to shake things up. And so I was like, okay, if that's the line, that's what we're hearing, you know, he's going to win. Like, they're not going to put that in unless he was going to win it. So I already had that thought in my head. The teams are broken up. So the copper team is Arissa, Easy, Jemmye, Alton, and Katie. The team is Kendall, Latterian, and Darrel. Gold is Yes, Ruthie, Derrick, Anissa, and Mark. And the silver is Syrus, Jemmye, Nehemiah, Beth, and then Darrel is going to be randomly drawn to go a second time. So just looking at those teams, did you have one team that you thought was going to do the best?
Yeah, I was like, Mark and Derrick are going to crush this.
Yeah, I was like, this is super unfair. Like, I knew Alton would be really good as well, no matter where he was. But I was like, yeah, Mark and Derrick, they're done. They win.
Well, I was wondering if it was, they're getting the Johnny Bananas edits or the Johnny Bananas elimination treatments. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Mark wants to win this one. Okay, let's maybe make it that he has the team to win with very easily. So they're still creating a TV show. So maybe that's why they don't tell us how they make these selections, because we would be like, it's not fair. It's not fair. I don't think I would be. I don't know if I'd care that much.
But I think they would care. Like, I think some of the players in this would be like, no, you can't just put, like, there has to be something else to it. I don't know. I'd be curious to find out. But I think we'll see as it moves forward. Like, next week, let's see what the teams are like. And if it's similar again, or it's like, we'll see.
It's going to be hell to pay.
Then we're calling up MTV. We're having a chat. Or not MTV. Yeah, MTV.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus.
It's on MTV, Michelle. Or Paramount.
We're good. Sorry?
I'm just being an idiot.
Arissa is like calling out Jonna to be the captain and kind of saying like, yeah, you have to step it up sometimes. And I didn't understand what leg Arissa had to stand on to be calling out Jonna and saying that she needed to take this leadership position. Do you get that?
That was a very bizarre moment.
So weird.
Arissa really made me feel uncomfortable. I mean, we'll talk about more things, but that made me feel like very uncomfortable. And Jonna was also kind of like taken aback. Like,
she felt ambushed.
It was just weird.
Did you have any reasons why, Michelle, that she was doing this? Why does Jonna have to do it? Why can't you be the one that takes the captain position, Arissa?
Well, I think Arissa's been the captain before.
Yes.
I don't know for sure. I assumed maybe she had been a captain the first week, or
maybe with the ice one, she was the captain.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think she had a real reason, but I don't know. I mean, I think there was so much that was not shown about what was going on with Arissa from what I've been reading, been seeing and stuff. So I don't know if that was affecting her mood and everything too. I heard she didn't have the food she needed because she has certain restrictions and gluten-free and or whatever it is, a lot of things. And
it was worse than that actually, because she did have the food, but the cast ate it. Yeah. I was going to talk about that later, but she did have the food, but the cast ate it. So they bought her all of this food and everything, and then the cast was eating it, and she pre-made a meal one day, and then they got back to the house and somebody had eaten it, and she was like, I have nothing to eat, and Derrick had to make her eggs. And then she would tell them because she's celiac, it's not gluten intolerant where she could have it, and she would be like, okay, there can't be any cross contamination. So she had labeled cutting boards and everything. And then she'd come back and she'd see her cutting board, and it was it had breadcrumbs on it. So I think obviously all of that stuff attributes to.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely really annoying, really frustrating. You're dealing with your food and her whatever reaction that she has, that must be very, very difficult. If she does have any gluten, she gets really sick. So I totally can understand her frustration in the house. I'm just wondering, and I'm not trying to exclude, but I'm just wondering why she would choose to go on the challenge if it's very difficult for her to have for diet purposes and whatnot.
Well, I feel like she was probably told by Mark, who really wanted her on, don't worry, we'll make sure you have everything you need, and you know what I mean, we'll make sure you have everything. And so I feel because and I'm reading some comments and stuff, apparently that some of the cast was drunk and ate it and stuff, whatever, they didn't notice and whatever, were being careless. I think that like things were maybe promised to her that didn't end up being fully fulfilled. And maybe because she wasn't eating as much, her energy was just a lot lower and she was more irritable and not able to like fully perform the way she could. And she was just like, it made her bitter towards the whole cast in a way, maybe. And then that kind of rubs off in the challenges and makes her, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was necessarily the best choice for her, but like, I can see her being convinced by producers, by being told everything was going to be what she needed or something.
Well, for sure. And I think, maybe there are instances where things weren't as well organized as, maybe Mark made it out to be. But also she did describe that she was having allergic reactions as well.
So I'll just go through the comments because like I did know about this that was going on as well, and like with their gluten allergy. So, hi Jorge. So Jorge says in an interview, Arissa explained that she quit for several reasons. One of them was that she has a gluten allergy and apparently didn't get the type of food that she needed. But you're clarifying that it was because she is celiac and she had the food that she needed, but people weren't respecting her food or her dietary concerns. So this is the thing, though, that it's also, is it fair for the other challengers to understand completely what you're going through and what your experience is and know how serious it is? Like they might not know what celiac is, and not saying that they shouldn't have compassion and shouldn't be respectful, like all that true, but they're also kind of living in a house together and not maybe knowing how dire or how bad it is, and they might not even had a clue. So
I don't think it was intentional, like Michelle was saying. Like I think it was a matter of like them being drunk. I mean, we've all had one roommate and we know like how insane one roommate is. Imagine having like 15. Like, of course, food will be eaten and people aren't going to be like, if you're drunk, stumbling to the fridge, like, is this gluten-free? Like,
whenever I've lived with people, it had to be what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. You finish it, you replace it, leave a note. Like, that's just like how it is. And so people just might not be used to having that kind of care around somebody that has a very specific diet that maybe they're not aware of, or maybe she needed to have like a talk at the beginning and being like, hey guys, I know it's kind of frustrating, but this is where I'm at health wise. Can you please help me here to make sure that like at least I'm able to eat and keep myself nourished so I can be on this challenge with you guys. Like, I don't know if they took the steps just at least educate the people that are with her so they know what they're doing. And so there's part of it, I feel like there's a little bit of carelessness with like just asking them what she's expecting of them instead of just kind of reprimanding them for not respecting her food, with them maybe not even knowing that it needed to be respected, So they're probably just like, I don't know, I ate it, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. Like they probably don't even know,
I'm sure of it. I highly doubt any of them would have like done it to like we're doing it maliciously in any way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just like continuing on, Jorge's as adding on that she also said that this was why she looked skinnier, because she was not eating well at all. She also said that people would eat her food when they were drunk. She said that in an Us Weekly article, I'm assuming. So yeah, like I get it, but I just don't know if it was the right environment for somebody that has such strict dietary needs to be with people that don't have the same needs as she does.
Yeah, I mean, what Arissa had said, like the reason, because everyone was like, why would you go on the reason specifically? She was like, I really support Mark. I'm still friends with him. Like, I really want to do this project. I really support him. And I think that was, more than enough of a reason why. But
yeah, like she wrote, I've seen comments on Instagram where when it first came out, and she's like, Mark, like you really worked for this. And like, we got the energies we needed to get this to happen. Like, I feel like they do have that mutual support. And I did appreciate that in the episode, Mark, like as the daily goes on and he's like considering what to do, like when he was telling every single person, like, oh, don't worry, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. If I used it, I'm like, what the hell? I thought he was lying to Arissa, but then in his confessional, he's like, no, I want Arissa to stay. Like, I'm not going to throw her in. I want her to be here. I'm going to throw in Kendall because I have no relationship with her and I don't like her. Like, you know? So I did actually appreciate that. And from what I've seen on her Instagram, because I did some stalking after I watched the episode, she seems to be really positive about everything, has posted a lot about the different episodes and what she loved about the just different challenges and how she got to be part of it and all of that. So I don't know. I feel less like bad about it, I suppose.
So Andrea says, apparently the girls' team got screwed by productions in Battle of the Sexes 2 on the final. They couldn't find their key because it was put in the wrong place by production. I'm kind of remembering this a little bit. I kind of remembering a freak out of some sort.
21 years of MTV doing women dirty.
yeah. Pretty much. In Battle of the Sex. So continuing on with the challenge. So we got a confessional from Jemmye saying that Kendall is the original Barbie beast, that she has her eye on her. So I don't think that Kendall is long for this world if Jemmye wants you out. It's kind of like, she's going to be in the hot seat often. Jisela also doesn't want to work with Kendall, though, because she doesn't feel as though Kendall will work hard with her. And like, Jisela is okay with telling Kendall how she feels at all times.
That was an iconic moment. Well, there's multiple, but like the first Jisela moment that I loved was just, it's either you or you is going to be captain. And then she's like, why me? Because I don't trust you. You gave up on 2 challenges. Like, I'm not going to trust you with my fate by being captain. Like, she just like straight up is like, you're on my team. No. Like, I loved that moment. She just, she says it like it is. That it was just so funny. It was so funny.
She did end up as captain in the end, I believe. So the captains for the team were Big Easy and Jonna, Beth and Nehemiah, Kendall and Latterian, and Mark and Ruthie were all the captains. So we kind of talked a little bit already about some of the epic moments. So we got the Jonna fall, Kellyanne like going back and forth quickly. We see Katie not being able to, I think that she quit because she also wasn't able to reach the ropes. I don't know how tall she is, but I'm guessing she's about 5 feet tall. And so I think that like optically she wasn't able to like actually reach up and grab it. So she's just like, I'm just going to jump off, guys. Like, I don't want to eat up your time. So I don't fully take it as a quit. For the points, though, it 100% will be a quit. But
I accept. That was a quit. That was a quit. Whatever it was still a quit. So -5 for me.
But when she does jump, the song "Sail Away" comes on. Sail away, sail away, sail away. And
they're just serving the most hilarious soundtracks. Like,
I was listening to another podcast that didn't like hearing the Karma Chameleon like playing in the finale, and I was like, "What?" They're like, "It's too on the nose. It's too on the nose." I'm like, "Yeah, I like that they're trolling him. Like, be on the nose with the troll." So I thought I'm with them being completely obvious with like their song puns, basically. I love it. So basically, the first round was the copper team versus the black team, and the black team wins. So that's Kendall, Latterian, Kellyanne, Darrel, and Anissa. And the next round, actually, we hear that Jisela loves seeing Alton. That he had no more ropes on the bottom, and he's just holding himself up on the top rope, and he's just kind of shimmying, kind of like the what's it called, challenge, the fire escape challenge, kind of like that, on the ropes by himself with his feet, and she's eyeing him and saying, there's nothing sexier than a man that is just doing his And I was like, okay, so they're setting us up for something. Were you guys getting excited about seeing Blossom?
I definitely think that that's going to be a thing. It makes total sense with the whole like rumor that there is some other kind of showmance that's going to happen. And she's been posting all about him on her Instagram story. Like not showing anything now, but showing that like pictures of him being like, what's this mood? And like a picture of her and him in the same room in the gauntlet when she's like, I didn't even know we had met each other before. And like, neither did he. And like, so clearly she's still like feeling a type of way. So I think, I don't know, I wonder what blossoms, but that's going to be like an emotional relationship that we can ride for. And it just made me think of like Alton, when he has a thing with someone, it's so intense. It's always so intense. Like with Irulan, like that love was like, we were invested and scared and sad and happy. Like he just loves so much when he's in love with someone. So like, I'm excited for this.
Even my mom was saying how she loved Alton and Irulan together. Like my mother is like, I love that. Oh, they were just, that's those two. They're so great. Are they still together? Like she's always asking about updates about that couple. So across all ages, I was so upset to hear that they weren't together anymore. Because I was just like, I want them to last forever. But I think they just grew out of each other. They just grew up. And I was like, no. So I want to ride for this as well. So I hope that they both stay on it long enough so we can see this really, really play out in front of our eyes, which will be awesome.
Yeah, let's get some points.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not getting them yet. Not yet. So Kellyanne is worried. I think I mentioned this a little bit before, how Kendall, they're going to see her Kendall as killing it always in challenges, and that they're a deadly duo. So I'm happy that Kellyanne's clocking this. And so maybe she's going to be a little more strategic and be like, hey, I don't want to work with this person, or like, I don't want to be appearing to be too great because I don't want people to start wanting to get me out or putting me up against Kendall. So we get one of each other out. So I'm glad she's recognized. Yeah. Go ahead.
Kellyanne is definitely someone who, if she gets to a final with this crop of women, has a very high chance of getting first place because she's got that endurance compared to the others. But in an elimination, I'd put my money on a lot of the other women, depending on what it was against her. Like, I think she could do well, but she's much better in a final than she is in an elimination. In my opinion,
I don't want Kellyanne to go.
No, I love her. I don't even care
what to look at.
He's so in love with Kellyanne.
I mean, you gotta love Kellyanne. Remember her and Kahada?
I loved her and Kahada.
You treated him like shit, but then you just rode for them so much. Yeah. And then she dated Wes. Iconic.
Remember? I mean, everybody dated Wes, it seems, but like we've forgotten all about.
I know, yeah.
He's actually had a lot of challenge relationships. I would love. Oh, he's married now, or he's in a relationship now. But I'd love to see a current one. I want to see a good new current relationship with like some of the OGs or something. Like I just need to see something new on that show. Not Fessy. So gold versus silver. So the one surprise, I think for everybody, and it's including Nehemiah, was getting to the end of the rope on the first pass. And I think Nehemiah thought he was about to get there because he also was taking his final step, basically. And Derrick, that little speed demon, just like unclips it and just like, oh, like he's gone. He's out of there. Poor Nehemiah, just like... He did not know it was coming at all.
So lovely.
That would have been so painful to just see it and then those are my nightmares. I have dreams where I'm climbing something and I fall, and like that's what that is.
So good. Syrus has another confessional about he's trying to win this for Beth. I'm like, okay. He does get across faster than Anissa, but it manages to release Anissa's rope. And Anissa, she used to be a dancer when she was going through university. And so she has a lot of upper body strength to hold herself on the rope. So she was managing to keep herself up on the top rope after it was released for a little bit. But then they kind of urged her to like, hey, drop. So like, even if you drop it, we'll get through and we can still move people, because it's basically who releases the most ropes the fastest is going to be the winning team and then have the winning captain. So they're just like, okay, you're done. Just like fall. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. So I thought that was a good strategic decision for her team to like not allow her to take up any time trying to get across, as opposed to like let someone else start from the beginning and just go.
Yeah.
Mark, he releases Beth's rope, so Beth doesn't really make it. And Ruthie, like little speed demon herself, just like zippity zip back and forth. She was super fast, and Mark and Derrick were so happy for her. And Darrel gives her a glowing confessional talking about how, Ruthie, she's the truth. And like, you want her to be on your team. And I was like, yes, Ruthie, like, I love that Darrel's riding for you. People are like,
I love that. She's the truth. Like, yes.
Loved it. And like my heart just is always like, I've always just really liked Ruthie, and she has a moment in this episode where she talks about growing up in foster care and whatnot, and that the people that were raising her they never thought that she would amount to anything. They didn't think that she would become anything. And so seeing her have this fight still and accomplishing, and then I just love when Mark picks her up and like hugs her, and she just looks so light, and big Mark is just picking her up because she like got to the end so quickly. I was like, I loved that moment, and I loved it for Ruthie because I want her to do well, which is great. And she was on a team with Anissa, and she said that she was going to be able to put her feelings aside and work well together, and they seemingly did. They were on the winning team, and so Ruthie is going to be safe from the female elimination, and Mark, he got that handy dandy lifesaver. Now, do you think Mark's going to use it?
Yeah, I was like, this is immediate. But also, I love the energy of almost everyone was like, use it because we need to know what this is for future strategy. It's the opposite of the Big Brother strategy, which is like, don't make any decisions like that. It's like, in the challenge, you have to take risks sometimes. And if you take a risk early enough to understand what that risk is, so then now when it's going to be a guy thing, he knows, okay, depending on who wins for the girl, do I want her to use it? If I get her to use it, do I have the votes to get the person that I want to go against in this elimination or not? Like there's so much more strategy involved now. So and yeah, I was like, he's definitely going to use it. Like he knows we got to make good TV. The stakes aren't like life or death for him. You know what I mean? Like we might as well use it.
100%.
Exactly.
What do you think?
No, I agree with all of that.
I totally think that Mark is here for making good TV. I think that that's why they wanted it. Like he wanted it. He's like, all right, they haven't used it these 2 episodes. We need to use, or 3 episodes. We need this lightsaber used because the show doesn't put these superpowers and all this stuff in for it not to be used. Like in Big Brother, they want the veto used every time. They want things shaken up. If there's a secret something, they want it bound and they want it used because that's like they want to see what happens, what chaos ensues when these things are used. What?
I think you fixed Big Brother.
What?
I feel like if the veto had to be used every time.
Oh, forced?
Oh, if it had to be used. Ooh! I love that.
Hold on, I'm just going to call Julie Chen.
Well, interesting, because what they tried to do to fix it in Big Brother Canada is they stopped allowing the head of household from being able to compete, and I think that they're doing that so there's a more likelihood for it to be used. But I do feel maybe okay. So I'm gonna toe the lines of both of these thoughts. Is that what if the only person that can choose not to use it is if the head of household wins the veto. But if anybody else wins the veto, they have to choose to use the power of veto. I mean, it would make things interesting. and it would make you like second guess on who you're going to put on the block and who you're going to pick. And it would definitely make a lot of strategy happen if they were forced to use it. So maybe I fixed Big Brother. You're right. Thank you. Oh my God. It's an honor. It's an honor. I definitely was scared for Beth here because now, look at that. It's like Jemmye was like, no, you be it. You do it. Because maybe she didn't feel confident in this challenge as being one of the winning teams. And so Beth is on the silver team and the losing team, and it's going to have to go in. One thing that was interesting that somebody told me, I believe it was Speaking the Truth, had mentioned that, because I was saying like, oh, I think that it was an advantage to the second group of teams to be able to see what was the optimum strategy of like, okay, just like get people there and back really quickly so you had most amount of time. But I was told that Mark's team was actually in the first heat, but they flipped it in how they showed it on the TV. So that I thought was interesting, that they were originally the first heat, not the second heat. That was the winning team.
Yeah, I think that in normal times, like, yeah, there's strategy involved. But like at the end of the day with ropes, you're either quick and strong and able to hold yourself up, or you're not.
But I would have learned though, like not to have Anissa hanging up there, right? By seeing it by somebody else.
Right. Yeah. That's fair.
Or like who cares if you can't do it? Just like get out. We need to get people there and back while we have ropes. Like don't be a hero here. Like we need the there and back. So
that's what they told her, right in the middle, when she's like, I can't. She's like just holding on, and they're like, just drop.
Just drop. And so it's not about holding on and getting to the other side. It's about being fast and going back and forth and having the most amount of ropes, I think, is the best to do it. So I just thought that they were able to win because they saw that and was like, okay, I could see how to fix this to do better. But apparently they went first and they did better. So they actually were as badass as it appeared to be. So people are already talking. So we have Beth, Syrus, Jemmye, and Nehemiah, this fabulous foursome, strategizing about what they can do for Beth. And Jemmye's like, whatever you want, like I'm going to do this for you. Beth is thinking Katie, Arissa makes sense, or Kendall. And I'm like, why does Beth think Kendall's a layup? Like maybe in like a hall brawl type situation or maybe a pole wrestling. Beth does have some heart in those kind of competitions, but in almost everything else, I do not see Beth beating Kendall. And even Katie, I don't see her beating her in that many things.
No, and I think it was clear when like Jemmye kind of laid it out and is explaining, at least to the camera, like, it doesn't make sense for her to go against Kendall. She'll lose. It doesn't make sense for her to go against Katie because it's a toss-up. Either one of them could win, depending on what it is. She should go against Arissa. Arissa seems to be the weakest right now, and Ruthie is safe, so you can't go against Ruthie. Like someone that's smaller than you. Because what does Beth have to her advantage? Just that she's a bit bigger than some of the other people. So that's the only thing they can really go on because they don't know anything else. So yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that she was like, yeah, Katie or Kendall. I think she was more so thinking like, who are her enemies? Like, who does she not have any relationship with? Mm-hmm. I think that's the way Beth was kind of seeing things. So yeah, I was getting scared for her. In that moment, I was like, uh-oh, she's going to lose against Kendall or against Katie. Like, this is going to be bad. Like, I started to get nervous for Beth.
Me too. Me too. I was getting nervous that she was going to like get Kendall and lose to Kendall. And I was like, I would way rather Beth being in this game than Kendall. I have Kendall, I think, on both of my drafts. Yeah. But like, I'm just like, I would rather Beth here for sure. She definitely brings more of the heat. So we go to the deliberation. I don't know what they're calling it this season. And Katie's like, I choked on this challenge. I'll go in. And everybody's just like, okay.
Like, you really see the heart of someone. And then you see Jemmye and she's just like, why would you ever do that? Like, honestly, it's not exciting TV. But I agree, it fits in with Katie's MO to not let anyone else dictate her future in a game. She wants to be the one to put herself in if she thinks there's a chance of her going in. Mm-hmm. And she probably had maybe heard her name. I don't know. but like, it's just, no, it's lame. Like, why would you put yourself in that position, especially knowing that you might get saved and screw someone else over? Like,
well, I think that she did it because she had a pretty good idea that Mark wants to use that lifesaver. So I think, like, I don't know if he's going to use it on me, but like, I think she knew that he was going to use the lifesaver, and it might as well be on her, and she could look like the hero, and Latterian, you know, his respect went up for Katie for this one. I think that she 100% knew that she wasn't going to have to back it up this time around, and she could get past maybe the fact that she quit that challenge, and people will forget about it by next week. So,
yeah, you know what? That actually kind of makes me respect the choice more, because at least it's strategic. At least it's strategic. I'll look good. I'll look like someone who's saying, yeah, I fucked up. I'm going to volunteer myself. And I'm like, just going to go in knowing that like she's going to get saved anyways. I kind of think that's a funny choice. Like, if I knew I was going to get saved, I might do the same thing. Just because then later on you can use it. Well, like, I volunteered myself. Like, I've put myself in the line of fire before. Now you have to.
Exactly. I really think, because it's just how she did it. There was just like a slight smile on her face. Like,
yeah,
I don't think she was that, not that she even gets scared really, but like, it just seems as though she was a little bit too happy about her decision that she was making. And it wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going in. I'm sorry, guys. You know, she didn't have that kind of gravitas. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to be good. So I'm going to go in. I'm going in. So that was my thoughts there. Jonna wasn't really happy about this decision either, but the next scene where you hear, I like it when you call me Big Pop, throw your hands in the air. I'm like, yes, I love this. They're going to the club, playing songs that I loved listening to when I was a wee one / like early 20s. And yeah, what do you think that Arissa's going to sleep at the bar again?
I mean, yeah. Like, when she had her like big sunglasses on, I was like, oh, that would be a lot if like you were not feeling well and like everyone was drinking screwdriver shots, it looked like.
I don't know why maybe they have to color it, because I think that they started putting food coloring in stuff because people were drinking too much and getting way too drunk. So that's why they were drinking, you know, the purple wine for a while. I don't know. Maybe they're not allowed to show liquor on the show anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure why it was looked like vodka orange juice shots or just orange juice or whatnot. But
yeah,
I don't know. Did I tell the story about my friend whenever she gets drunk? So she's like super fun party girl, whatever, but when she gets to her wall, she'll be out dancing, and then she'll just lean up against the wall or the bar or something and just pass right out. Like, she'll be standing, she'll be sitting, she'll be like and I'm just like, oh no, we lost her. It's like 3:01 and she's just like done, and you can't wake her. Like, she's out cold, and it could be at a loud like rave, and she's like hits the wall and she's out. So it just reminded me of Arissa last week when she was like, you know, falling asleep at the bar. And I'm like, you know what? I know some people that can do that, but they are super fun party people, but they hit it and they're just like done.
I'm jealous of that. I get home and I'm like, I'm so tired, but I can't sleep, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I always can sleep. I love sleeping.
I
love staying up late, but I've never had a problem falling asleep unless I've had like a coffee, and then like I won't be able to sleep. Maybe if I have it like too late. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. So what I was saying though, when they're at the club and they're doing these orange juice shots, I'm just like, I really wanted to be there with them. I was like, I want to hang out with these people. I felt really jealous that like I'm not on this cast and like I don't just get to like do fun things with these people. Did you guys feel that way too?
I don't really like going out, so for me I was like not, you know, but it seemed like a fun time, and it's nice for them to get this like iconic oasis like 20 years later. I don't know. It just, yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're still partying and that the first episode's hangover didn't stop them.
Yes, me too. So the scene. So okay, Mark is a producer here, and he wants to use we know that he's using it. He's going to be using the lifesaver, but he decides to set himself up as the godfather and speak to all the women about their views as whether or not he should or should not use it. I 100% think that he's doing this for content for the show. Like, I think that it's like, accelerating gameplay and make people have to think about these things. And so he tells everybody, as you mentioned before, Michelle, that like they're going to be safe. They're going to be safe. But he actually is going to be going for Kendall. So were you guys surprised? Michelle, you said you were surprised. Fanta, were you surprised that he wasn't actually going to be voting for Arissa when he uses the lifesaver?
No, I think Mark is generally a man of his word.
But he had told Kendall, he lied to Kendall, right? Like,
yeah. But
it makes sense.
I feel like that's different. I feel like everyone's like, doesn't matter, it's Kendall.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, though. I was like, but oh man, though, I don't want Kendall to go against Beth because I'm worried that Beth will lose. So I was like, oh man. So he's not giving Beth the layup, even though they're really close. I'm like, oh shoot. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. The next morning, you see Mark having the one-on-one with Arissa because I think that she wasn't there or she wasn't able to speak to him at the bar, and kind of saying like, I'm going to be using it, but I'm not going to be using it on you. And so he did really assure her that she's not the target here. She didn't want her to go in. So you get the first sign, the glimmer of the OG Arissa, where she's in the confessional being like, yeah, I might be all zen, but I can revert back to the other part of me and like a snap or something like that. And I was like, okay, so something's going to happen because we're going to be seeing this other side of her. Like, I'm like, it's happening. Where is it coming? Where is it coming? And then I see the Zoom call with Beth and her family. And I was like, okay, Zoom calls are like the kiss of death. You're having a Zoom call on the challenge? Like, you are definitely going in. Like, that's like hands down, you're going in. And you're probably not coming out. So, Betty, you say you don't usually notice these things. What did you think about the Zoom call?
Yeah, it was kind of giving me like vibes of like, I feel like Beth's leaving. And I felt I like new Beth. So I was really like, damn, like I wanted to spend more time with her. So yeah, I felt that way. I was like,
yeah. I definitely also felt when I saw that, oh, damn it, Beth. Like, I was like, she's probably going to go home because at this point I had given up on Arissa going in. At this point, I was like, okay, they're just giving this storyline because maybe in the next one or something's going to happen. We're just seeing this beginnings of it. I was like, okay, Katie's going to get saved for sure. Probably going to be Kendall. I don't know. Like, at this point, I was just like really scared for Beth and just kind of hoping it would be something in her favor. But I was like, she had a Zoom call. Like, she's probably going on.
I love how that's just like, that's it. She's gone. She's right here.
It's the tropes, like you look for the clues. Like, with Tanya, we talk about these things about The Bachelor. We're like, oh, nope, she went first. She's done. Like, we like look for all the things that they do that we can like depict what's going to be happening in the episode. So with this, I saw the kiss of death Zoom call. I was like, all right, Beth is done here. So we get to the elimination, and it's going to be Beth versus Katie, presumably. So they both come down there, and Katie seemed quite smiley for somebody that's going down into elimination. And they ask Mark if he's using the lifesaver, and he starts it off with, I am not going to let Katie compete tonight. Did you get slightly fooled, guys? I got slightly fooled. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was not fooled by that personally.
Yeah.
But it was a good choice. I mean, I love it. I love Mark.
It's kind of like Julie Chen and Arissa Cox from Big Brother Canada. They both do that sometimes. Like, they do the misdirect with who's going to be eliminated or evicted. And so I did love that he did that. I was shocked that I was like, there's no way that he's not going to use it. And then I was like, I got me. So I got you. Bye, Mark. So now they got to vote. And there we go. You guys could not get away from that vote. And Jemmye wasn't actually as happy as having this vote go down as like for the amount of madness that she was with the fact that they didn't have the vote before. But I loved every part of this open forum vote, starting with Darrel being like, oh, I don't want to do this, TJ. Anybody want to volunteer? And then I think the smartest choice for Darrel is, Beth, who do you want? And he took the onus completely off of him, and she got to call her shot. And then some people followed suit, and then some people did not. So I know you guys loved it, but what do you guys love about this whole open forum?
Yeah, I thought it was. Oh, go ahead.
It was a really smart move. Like, you just immediately get the heat off of you, and they're all piranhas. So right away, you know that they're all gonna be like, well, yeah, Arissa. But the voting was really interesting.
It's dumb.
Who was the first?
Not voting technically.
What's that? No, I know. Like Kendall voting for Kendall voting for Anissa back, and I was like, are you out of your mind? The voting is way too close for you to do something like that.
Yeah, first of all, Kendall voting back for her, I agree, was like weird. And then Arissa voting against Kellyanne. I'm like, girl, you're getting. She only got voted in by 7 votes. If Kendall had like, she had gone for Kendall and like, I don't know. I still think Arissa would have been thrown in no matter what, how it shook out. But it was not that like cut and dry. And some of these people were just throwing random ass votes, like
the Kellyanne ones. I was like,
and Kellyanne's face was like,
yeah,
no. Like, she was not having that.
Jisela being like, don't ever come for Anissa on my watch, Kendall.
Okay, that moment, while hilarious, and I get it, that was so unnecessary, but also, like, whatever. Like, I love Jisela, and I thought it was a hilarious moment, but she did, like, I was like, why are you going to say that? Like, like, Anissa said her name first. And then she said it back, and then you're like, don't come for her. Like, she said it first.
She wanted to say something and vote for like, she needed to have a reason, because she has something to say to Kendall a lot. In the challenge, had something to say. Last week, she had something or the week before, she had something to say. This week, something to say. So I don't think that she likes each other, and just was looking for, oh, this is perfect for me to have a nice little jab at Kendall while I say her name.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. Any other interesting ones? So Janae said Anissa, Arissa. Alton said Kendall, Big Easy, Anissa. Anissa starts saying, Arissa starts saying, bitch, you don't want to see me in this arena. I'll fucking send you home. I'll run you over. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fuck you up after this. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? And so Anissa ends up getting it. Wait, I'm getting their names mixed up. Arissa.
Uh-oh.
You're cutting out, Chantele.
Until you're cutting out and you're frozen, girl.
And you're frozen with your hand like this. Oh, you're coming back. You're coming back.
You're slowly dying.
I'm still here for me, but all of you just talk.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now, but
you're moving. We just let you do that.
Fine by me. I don't mind being the monkey here.
But yeah, Arissa got picked, and she immediately is just pissed.
Yeah.
Yes, she wants to box her. Can I box, TJ? Can I box?
Oh yeah, can I box? Can I box? Can I box?
I was like, with what tools here? Like, this is already set up.
She had the best quotes of the whole elimination. Well, the elimination didn't happen, but number one, can we box TJ? Can I box her? Can I box her? Then when she says, when she takes off the helmet and he goes, you don't need a helmet, Arissa? No, TJ, I don't need a helmet. And then she's like, I'd actually like to address my house now. And just goes in. Like, that was just, no, I don't need a helmet, TJ. Like, I was like, yes. Like, I don't know. These lines that she said are going to go down in challenge history.
Oh, yeah. That was everything. I felt all the emotions. I was like uncomfortable. I was just like cackling. I was like, this is just everything. Like, I'm loving this drama. I love Beth's just like standing there like, and then, yeah, she just like goes off. I mean, she didn't mention any of the food stuff, but just goes off on how like nobody had her back and how everyone was like treating her like shit. And yeah, just was giving everyone a couple of these guys.
So they were supposed to play wall ball. And so I couldn't fully understand what the competition was, but there's 4 big slats of it seemed like concrete, but I couldn't tell the material for sure. And they're kind of stuck together. I guess there's ropes in between them so they can unaccordion, like they can open up and spread out a little bit. And once they pull those, slats apart, then they're supposed to get some balls and throw some balls somewhere. And then they have to do that 3 times and break through some sort of wall of some sort. So I wanted to see how this played out. And I was like Jonna, being like, yeah, girl, like if you want to box somebody, box through that wall and pretend it's Beth's face. Like, I don't know why she didn't channel that boxing energy when she literally could be boxing something in this elimination. So that was one thing that was really frustrating, with the fact that she only wanted to do a boxing challenge, but like she actually could do a boxing challenge in there and still win this. And so she definitely said that she didn't want to come back to these houses. The house is full of snakes. She didn't want to be living with these people. But you were going to say something, Michelle, that I kind of cut you off?
No, it was just, yeah, like I think that she didn't want to continue living with them under the circumstances. Now knowing the food stuff too, like it was not good for her. And at that point, she wasn't able to get her hands on someone, which is, I guess, what she wanted in that moment. I think part of it, maybe she knew she probably wouldn't win this type of a challenge against Beth. But regardless, I think it was just beyond that. Like, she was so offended by certain people voting her in, I think. Probably like Jonna, for example, or whatever. Oh, she also said...
So says she also said that she was mad at Alton and others who were telling Mark to put her in and not Kendall. And so I guess she's hearing maybe murmurs about that in the house. Was Alton saying that? Well, Alton does have a confessional saying that she's not really the same person that he saw back then. And maybe that's the thing. It's like, oh, like, should I be protecting someone like her right now? She's not really hanging out with us. She's not really playing the game with us. She's not really the person that I knew and would have like a ride or die alliance with. And so I can understand her being upset by if he is saying that, but I can also understand him being like, she's not really great for my game. So.
But also, he still didn't vote her in.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I mean, who knows what he was saying? But I think that like she just was in that moment done, and the way she did it was just reality TV gold, like platinum perfection. She didn't stutter. She didn't read a letter she wrote. She didn't plan anything. She said it. She said it clearly. She said it confidently. She called them all motherfuckers. She said, I'm done with this snake ass shit. I don't care. She said, even if I win, it doesn't matter because I can't stand living with you guys. Like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It was so perfect. Then we get TJ's iconic line, see you never. We were wondering when he was going to say it. I feel some relief that it's been said, so now I won't be anxious every elimination wondering if the person's going to quit or not. It's happened now, so I don't know. It was just so I've honestly seen that ending like 27 times.
It was so good. It was so good. I loved it, and I don't feel like any kind of way about Arissa, but I've got some tea here.
Ooh.
one sec. So one thing though that I think that should have happened. So they named this episode "Semi-Charmed Lifesaver," and I was like, "Huh?" It should have been called "See You Never." Why would of course I want if you're usually telegraph what's going to be happening. I want to see "See You Never" on as the title if it's going to be like that, because it'd be like, whoa, why is it called that? Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think we would have known what it was then, but
yeah.
Who and how?
Yeah. So our favorite friend, Veronica.
Who?
Veronica. She posted a comment on either it was Arissa's Instagram or the challenge Instagram after Arissa quit. And Veronica says, "What happened to her Zen?" And then Veronica tags Arissa in it and is like, I don't know if she tagged it or I don't know, it was redacted. "I watched, still underamused by the whole thing. I wonder if her ancestors told her to switch it up or if she feels bad for letting them down." And then Arissa responds to her and is like, "You don't want the smoke, Veronica. Trust me. Have a seat." Veronica is like, "Keep it zen, girl. I know you thought you had this challenge in the bag because of the communication with your ancestors. So I'm for real wondering why you quit and didn't stay in the game to win the 500K you had coming to you." Arissa responds, "Let me keep this 100 instead of zen for you right now. You so thirsty for attention this morning, you're about to get it. I just communicated with my ancestors and we don't fuck with the likes of you. The type of low vibrational person who thinks it's okay to photograph and participate in the degradation of a woman who was passed out and unable to defend or protect herself. You're focusing on the wrong things, BB girl. Instead of worrying about me and my ancestors, you need to worry about the karma coming to you for that fucked up shit you did. And work on being less of a trash human being and look at who you are. Respectfully, sun emoji." And then Beth, so then Beth responds as well. She says, "Where are the naked pictures of Tanya, Veronica Portillo? You are sick and you need to be banned from all of these shows. You are a bully who constantly degrades other women. Shame on you."
Wait. Okay. Did Veronica respond to any of that?
How do you? She just got bodied. She got bodied. How do you? And I mean, that's such a crazy long time coming. That's such a crazy long time coming. It's true. Anissa is a bad person.
She is. And also I've seen tweets, she's had so many fucked up things, but I've seen her posting about how she was obviously asked to do All Stars, but that they couldn't afford her. They couldn't afford for her to go of whatever fee she would require. And that some of the people on it aren't actual OGs and that whole argument. And she always has to get her foot in. And I did used to like her, I don't even know how at this point, but when I was younger, I remember kind of wanting her to do well. And the shit that she did was so horrible time and time again. And for her to come at a risk, you watched the episode, you're telling me you were underamused? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when have you done anything?
Half as iconic as that. Your most iconic moment is when Julie almost killed you in that challenge. That was a moment we felt for you. That was iconic. You didn't even do that to yourself. Arissa took her fate into her own hands. You have no idea what she was going through, especially with all the other stuff we're finding out about. And she still seemingly, if you look at her Instagram, is very positive and has a good relationship with the whole cast. Even though she trashed them in that moment, she's still love these people. I'm so blessed to have had this opportunity. She's still grateful. So get off your high horse. You're such an, I'm so glad she got called out. That's amazing.
Not once, but twice.
Yes.
That was.
I'm underwhelmed. Your last showing, Veronica, was horrendous.
Was actually horrible.
And all of you, you've never done well. Shut up.
Oh man, well thank you Fanta for sharing that. The only last thing I wanted to say about the episode is where Derrick has a confessional saying, if you think that we're all snakes, then see you never. I was like, oh boy, man, Derrick. But I did like that it's like whatever, like bye.
He's having fun with it, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I'm glad we don't have an energy like Veronica there, because it would just taint the whole experience. Because while these people have high emotions and we saw things like this, like at the end of the day, the people that he picked are all people who are really grateful to have this opportunity, you know?
Absolutely. Jorge's saying this as well. People here know it's a competition, but they don't take it that seriously. Mark said it at the after show that they try to not take anything personal, which is great to know. Also, the girls, yes, are killing it this season in every area. We got Kellyanne, Kendall, Ruthie, Jonna are outperforming Anissa, who holds her own on the real challenge. I mean, I think that they just haven't really been favoring Anissa, but I can see her winning something soon. Like, they haven't had any real puzzles, really, other than the first one with the math, correct? And, like, remembering the challenge order. But she already has won a challenge, which was trivia. So I think that Anissa's still doing what she does, you know? Look at the difference from old school to new school with Anissa's performance. She would never get that kind of positive reaction after she fell with these newbies. Actually, absolutely. She would not be, nobody would be getting a good edit with the newbies. They do say at the next episode, I think in the preview, that there's going to be a twist of some sort. Is that do you remember what happened?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen. But no, I can't even predict, but I can't wait. Honestly, this show is so good. I love all of it. And I'm so happy that Beth is there to fight another day.
Same.
So true. And like they're saying a win is a win to Beth. LOL, when she took off that helmet when the hair on my head was standing up, which is like, I was like, oh my God, what's happening, guys?
Oh, side note, sorry. For points, obviously, like I lose 5 for Katie. I was thinking, tell me your thoughts on this, because I'm open. For Arissa, technically she quit. That would maybe be a -5. However, I would also argue that iconic speech would count as a fight on her end versus the house. Whereas I wouldn't give points to the house, but I would give 5 points to her for that fight, like, because that was really intense, which would kind of like equal each other out to just be nothing. So she doesn't lose anything or gain.
Have you been thinking
but
about
I'm open to your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You'll take it?
I'll take it too, Michelle. But how long were you even thinking about that argument there, Mishi?
No, I just, after I watched it, because I was like, well, is it a fight? It's not really, but I was like, it's so iconic. We need to reward it in some kind of way. But then I'm like, but she also quit. But like, it was so good. I don't think she should lose points for that. So she's not even on my team. I'm just saying, like, we got to give merits where they are deserved. You know.
And wait, does she get a? Okay.
And then my question is, I would also argue, okay, does Beth get a full 10 points? She didn't actually win the elimination. She didn't make it past. Should we give her 5 instead?
I think she gets 10 points because she's the one that called out Arissa. So she could have gone with the house and or you know what I mean? Like she started that train. And so not that she knew how it was going to work out in the end, but I do feel that because she started that train, she got a win. And so they do say it's a win's a win. She came back and Arissa didn't. So I would still give it 10. But what do you think, Fanta?
Okay. I mean, I think she's on my team, so I'd take 10. But honestly, I understand that she didn't,
do the thing.
So we're other points for this. So I gave her all the 5 points for the people that were in the daily. So it was Derrick, Anissa, well, no, not her, Ruthie,
and Mark.
So I got those points for you guys. You got your -5 for Katie quitting. LS. Mark 5, somebody else 5. Oh, for the lifesaver. lifesaver using it.
Right.
Okay. So just if we just do a little quick add up, I think if I got all the ones for the last week, so I have, we'll start with Fanta has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then plus and minus. So you're at 25, I believe, so far. Michelle is at, cancels out, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. And I think I'm winning this one, guys, still so far. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 45, 50. Yay! I'm starting off strong.
Okay, you know what? There's a lot of game to be played in the next few weeks, so I wouldn't get your hopes up.
I'm just teasing you guys. But I'm just doing better at the beginning of this one than the last one where it's like, Natalie, like, what's her name? Millionaire Ashley. Like, I'm just like, why are all these people going? Like, they're not supposed to go that way. Let's just see if there's any other, wait, hold on. Andrea, did you catch? Oh, okay. Oh my God. Yeah, you need to have seen that. Yes, speaking the truth, he had a lot of tea as well. He was telling me about. Well, we're starting with all the smoke OG Rivals season. Absolutely, I'm going to start watching her old Real World. So Arissa had that chain smoking Las Vegas old school personality sitting just behind that Zen energy. Rewatch her Road Rules season. Good times. I'm going to. I was telling that other person that podcast, like, you have to watch. He's like, why should I watch? It's like, just watch it. It's good. It's good stuff. Okay, so Andrea says there is only 9 episodes left and there are 18 cast members left. LOL. Double eliminations are coming up. I think a major purge is coming up. Or maybe they say a twist. So maybe like they'll be in teams of like 4 and like a whole team is going to go home. Like it's going to be probably something pretty brutal. Because
if there's we're more than we're at the halfway point now, kind of whatever. So at this point, they're going to have to double up eliminations or have purges because, you know, that's how it's going to go. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Some of us are going to lose people like quick, and then some of us are going to win many, many points.
Yes. Yes. So Andrea, I love that you know what the twist is, but I don't want to know. I only speculate. But I hope that. Well, I mean, it's gonna always be good because this cast, like, they can't do anything wrong with these people. Like, I just am enjoying anything that they do. They're quitting, love it. They're jump, I love it. They're voting themselves in, loves. Like, I don't know. I'm just down with everything that this cast is bringing. So, do you guys have anything else you want to share about this episode before we see Nara? You're like, nope.
No, honestly, Fanta, that tea was amazing. Thank you so much for bringing that to the table because that just brought me just so much joy. If you can find that interaction back and forth and can screenshot it for me, that'd also be great because I have other people I'd like to send that to.
Yes.
And I just want to have it for safekeeping because I think it's iconic. So please send that to me. And also, yeah, I just think it was a hilarious episode. You never know what to expect with this thing. And it was great. Love Arissa. Love Beth. Love them all.
Oh, this is an interesting point. Though Andrew says I'm really pissed about that the after show doesn't invite early eliminees on. Arissa, Teck, Trishelle, and Ace brought a ton. Wasn't Trishelle already? She was on one, wasn't she? She was on the first one. I can't remember. But is that really?
I haven't been watching the after show.
I know. I mean, I haven't been clocking everything that's been happening. I just need to make it part of. I keep on forgetting about it, and then I'm like, oh, I watched this like right before, and then I'm like, shoot, I should have given myself a half an hour to watch the after show as well, but I forget. All right, well, you guys working on anything you want to share? No. Okay. Well, I love everybody. You guys know the drill at this point. Please, do the little subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's so we can get our 1,000 subscribers. And if we can't do it without you. So if you do decide to figure out a way to subscribe and send me a screenshot to Reality Realness with 3 S's at gmail.com, I will enter you into a draw. And at 1,000 subscribers, I will do a live draw for a $100 gift card to Amazon. So let's just do it. We're at 804. That's less than 200 away. It can happen like in a day. So let's just do that. Let's see how fast we can make it happen. Love you guys. Can't wait to see ya. Take care. And we love you too, Andrea.
Woo!